Things that make you go, November 2002, Olympia, Washington. Are girls better students than boys? Or are American schools better suited to girls than boys? It's another way of saying, are American schools sexist? Every few years, somebody proclaims that feminism is dead. Today's 2015. This happened a couple of years ago in 2013 or 2014. It also happened in 2002. Here's what I wrote about that back then. We may indeed be in a post-feminist period, but the damage done by their extreme misandry or hatred of masculinity stains every thread in the social fabric as malignantly and deeply as the misogyny they condemned. Despite sensitivity to the issues of date rape and sexual harassment, many women still expect men to respond to subtle signals that are not only subject to many interpretations, but that the women can deny they ever gave. Existence of a thriving American middle class depends in large part on a balance between corporate and union power. That's true today, more true 20 years ago, but that's not natural, and that would not happen in a free market, but we don't have a free market. We don't even have capitalism. We have crony capitalism, which is, to say, a corporatist version of fascism. What do feminists call a sensitive man? Sexual harasser. What do most women call a sensitive man? Friend. Many women love what they think they can turn a man into, not the man himself. On September 16, 2002, the day the WB premiered Everwood, Seattle Times columnist Kay McFadden dismissed the show as smug and confusing. Her chief complaint? That Treat Williams' character, Dr. Andrew Brown, puts fatherhood front and center, kind of like the male chauvinists back in the 1970s who denigrated shows that put mothers front and center. I'm not saying that feminists are sexist, am I? Yeah. Republicans march under the pro-entrepreneur, read producer, banner, while Democrats march under the pro-people, read consumer, banner. But as author William Greider has demonstrated over and over again, most notably in his book Who Will Tell the People? The Betrayal of the American Democracy, both parties belong to the multinational corporations. In other words, fascism or corporatism. In a band of chimpanzees, a feral human would be the weakest link. Several women have told me that when it comes to relationships, all that men want is what they can't have. What they really mean by that is sex with some particular woman. But in practice, what it means is love. Part of the feminist strategy has been to characterize women as superlative communicators and to stereotype men as uncommunicative thugs. Simultaneously, they have managed to impose ever-increasing legal and employment penalties on men who attempt to communicate with uncommunicative women. How can women who are offended by male attention and humor, jocularity and familiarity and brooding sensitivity still expect men to love them? During or shortly after puberty, as they become more aware of the importance of the opposite sex, most people become self-conscious. But only the feminists turn this into a political battle cry. Personal as political, you know. More trouble is caused by people who take offense than by those who give offense. In October of 2002, the Washington Traffic Safety Commission in Washington State announced a new campaign, Drive Hammered, Get Nailed. Given the sexual connotation of getting nailed, we might wonder how many horny young people will interpret that to mean drive drunk, get laid. Even wolves howl at the moon. Feminists say if men could get pregnant, abortion would be a sacrament. That's like saying if women could get blue balls, rape would be a sacrament. Both are disgusting and sexist, but at least the latter serves to expose the hatred and bigotry of the feminists. According to the right-wing types, household income has gone up. And they're right. During the past 20 years, household income has gone up. Remember, this was about 13 years ago. But 20 years before that, the typical household income was earned by only one person, while today it typically takes two or more. Are so many more women than men diagnosed with depression because the cost to society of diagnosing millions of men with depression would be too great? Imposing price caps on prescription drugs is bad, according to the drug companies. Better to let the marketplace decide what prices we will pay. But this ignores that the pharmaceutical companies operate in a market where consumer choices are strictly regulated. Consequently, even though no single drug manufacturer has a monopoly, under FDA regulations, the industry as a whole functions like a drug cartel. Hence, either price caps should be imposed or consumers should be given all the choices a real market has to offer. Children diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder might actually be experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder. If a woman fears a man, then according to feminists, he made her afraid and it's his fault. But if a man is afraid of a woman, then he's intimidated because he's sexist, and that's his fault. That's all for now. Check out the other videos. Subscribe to the channel. For the Backlash at Backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mecklin.